Greetings, everyone. Welcome to this week's Real Talk with ZSJ. I'm your sister Zakia, and tonight we're gonna have a good conversation with my nephew. I affectionately call him Antonio. Travis is here with me from NOLA, New Orleans, Louisiana. He's the founder of the Black Man Rising movement, and I'm excited to really get into this with him tonight. But before I allow him to introduce himself, y'all know the drill. This is a Black Pan African channel, so YouTube is a hater. And they shadow ban these types of pages, and including mine. So y'all know what you got to do. Hit the like button. You got to share it because this is going to be a good conversation, and it's going to be an appropriate conversation too with Antonio. We'll get into some of the tragedy a little bit that happened in Memphis this evening or this afternoon, and just overall talk about how we as a community can better support other Black people and young Black men and boys. So, Antonio, nephew, welcome. Introduce yourself to the audience, and they're going to make sure they hit the like button and share it.
Right. First of all, thank you for having me. When I was a kid, I appreciate it. You know, you one of the few who I met doing this work that's real. You know, so anything you need from me, I'm always. It don't matter what you ask. It's gonna get done. But my name is Antonio Travis. Born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm from what we call the St. Bernard Projects, 7th Ward. I pretty much, pretty much come from humble beginnings. Come from the trenches. Let me turn that off so don't make no background noise. Excuse me. But yeah, man. I'm 28 years young. I've been in this work since I was 20. Well, I actually been in this work since high school, actually. But I really started getting down and dirty in my early 20s. And like Mama's kid said, Black Man Rising movement is what I do. It's in my blood. It's an honor to do that type of work. Well, I remind Black people ain't nothing. It's cool to remind Black kids that nothing's wrong with being Black. You can be proud of being Black, and being Black, that's swag. That's everything. Like we walk in the room and we feel like everything that comes with our culture, we just want to exude that. We want people to feel us when we walk in the room. Everything about us, but that's like a little snippet of me. But I know we're gonna go deeper, so I don't want to say too much. We're gonna just have a conversation and go from there, and go like that.
Absolutely. So I think, first things first, I got to repeat this. It bears repeating. You are the founder, young founder of the Black Man Rising movement, right? I love the fact that it's a movement and it's a needed movement. And your innovation is just so appreciated. I want you to share with the audience, right? What was the impetus, right? Like what happened? Why were you moved to found this movement in New Orleans?
It was a couple of different things. So I know y'all probably can't. I'm real chocolate. I'm real dark. You probably can't see my hands, but on my hands I got tattooed Black Man. And one of the reasons why I started Black Man Rising movement was because I felt like my Blackness was under attack since youth. I always felt like I've always been, I feel like, conditioned to believe that something was wrong with being Black. Like the respectability politics and all those things that came into play in my life were all I feel like were all tools to strip me of my Blackness, and so I had to go through a process where I had to basically reteach myself and remind myself that it's nothing wrong with being black. I love everything with being black, which is why everything about me, the tattoos, the necklace, the black fist, like everything about me is that. But one of the reasons was I felt like my blackness was under attack. But then another reason was I just growing up in the conditions, just some of the teachings, and just not feeling like black men. We had our own safe space, and out here, especially in my community, just not feeling like we had a place where we can go and be and come and be our authentic selves without people telling us to suppress this or do this, or like we just couldn't show up. We never learned how to. Well, in my community, we struggle with learning how to articulate, I'm in pain, and we'll substitute that with punching a hole in the wall. And so I knew that from me, myself, growing up, and then also the people around me. And so healing is a big part of Black Men Rising. It's a big part of our curriculum and what we do. And I say this to tell people, I know it's like some type of divine energy going on, because I went to what we call a non-functioning charter school. So I didn't learn shit about nothing. I'm just being honest. I was what they call it, social promotion. I was one of the kids who was socially promoted through high school just so they could hit their 100% graduation rate. So I ain't learned shit. I went to college and dropped out because I ain't learned nothing in high school. I wasn't prepared for college on an academic level, nor on a social level, right? Like I was in lines for 4 years, and then in college it's like you free, go be an independent, functioning human being. And so, like all of that stuff played a factor into that. But when I knew we needed some type of healing mechanism in Black Men Rising, and I didn't even know, but I found out after we did it that Black people have been using healing circles and these different things since the beginning of time. I never knew that. But when we sat in the room, when me and my brother sat in the room, and we was like trying to figure out what this was going to look like, the first thing we thought about was a healing circle. And we didn't know when, like, I don't know. It just was like we got to sit in a circle. We have to heal. We got to do that.
Can I just say really quickly how I love the fact that as a young Black man, you knew like we need healing, right? And to really lean into that heavily. And healing doesn't necessarily have to have to be like sitting down and in front of a white therapist and all of that, right? Like, and I'm not poo-pooing on therapy. I absolutely believe in therapy. I have been to therapy. Like, therapy is where it's at. And we need to normalize that. But I didn't mean to cut you off. I just had to say that really quickly because I want people to really let that soak in, and other, young Black men who may watch this video, that coming out of your mouth is really powerful.
Yeah, and that's what I tell people. I had no programmatic experience. I couldn't tell you the first thing about setting up nothing. It was a need. It was a need that I knew affected me, and it affected a lot of people in my community. So that's why we started. That's why we did that. We added that to our curriculum, and we just wanted to have a safe space where we could just acknowledge what we've been through and not normalize some of the stuff that we've seen in life, and not, all right, you see somebody get shot and that's like, nah, bro, something wrong with that. Like, let's talk about it, let's unpackage it and stuff like that. But being safe while we're doing it, but not only just healing, because that's like a part of the work, but also developing ourselves as leaders so we can go out and build for our community. Like the healing is beautiful. Because we want to hear, because we know we're about to go re-traumatize ourselves going out here and looking at Robert E. Lee streets and all this other stupid stuff, and and all that stuff, and dealing with what we got to deal with. So we know we got to develop ourselves and be organized and disciplined when we show up for our people. We know that's essential for us. So in our curriculum, like the first lesson we teach, I call it Bamboozle, because the first video we play is clips from Bamboozle, the movie directed by Spike Lee, just to show kids, because we have a lot of young people in our group, and we want to show them like just how deep this stuff entrenched in everything that we see. So when you turn the TV on and see a cartoon, you think you're watching a cartoon, But when we watch Bamboozle, you see how they portray us with these big lips and eating watermelons and stuff. That shit is all intentional. And so it's real eye opening for a lot of people. I love I love when we play the videos because the kids' mouth be wide open and they get upset. It's always the initial reaction is always like they're upset and they're angry. Like that's some bullshit. They really trying to play on us and stuff like that. But yeah, like it's definitely for us it was definitely like for me building a space where we can be ourselves, our authentic selves, and not have nobody tell us um try to create something, a model for us to like. Not nobody who, especially people who don't look like us. That shit just was irritating. I seen that my whole life. I got tired of people who didn't look like me trying like create models for me to live up to, and that shit being accepted. Like that was annoying for me. And so I just wanted to make something for us where we can just be us and be an asset to our community. So that's where it all came from. And I went and recruited the brothers and made sure we all look different, thought the same, but I just wanted to make sure I showed people when they seen us that being a authentic black man don't look one way. That was
I
essential.
love that.
Yeah, like we don't look one way. So
Right.
I needed somebody like Derek who's more reserved and conservative, but gonna get down when it's time. I needed somebody like
That's right.
like we needed to look different. We
That's
needed to,
right.
so that was essential for me when I was thinking about it and recruiting. I was like, yeah, it can't be 6 Antonios or like we need
Right.
different elements. So when we go get these kids, they see themselves. When we standing up there, we performing or whatever we doing, you see us. You see
That's
yourself
right.
somebody.
We need a Black Man Rising movement in every city and state where
Man.
there are Black people in America. I just want to take a moment again to welcome our listeners. If y'all are just now tuning in, we are in conversation with Antonio Travis, who is the founder of the Black Man Rising movement in New Orleans, Louisiana. Again, because pages like this that are Black nationalist, Pan-Africanist leaning channels get shadow banned by YouTube. So we need help from our listeners to make sure you like the video, make sure that you share the video, because we really want to have a good conversation. We want to welcome the listeners to put questions and comments in the chat. And yeah, we just gonna keep this conversation rolling. And also, if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Antonio, you said a lot of poignant things, but I want, because I know you, right? Like I said, I affectionately call you my nephew, like a part of our family. But there was something that happened before you founded Black Men Rising Movement, particularly your experience in school. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Your experience, in high school? I believe it was a charter school, right?
Yeah.
So, man, got to tell the folks about that one.
Yeah, so just I went to an all boys charter school out here in New Orleans, and if you don't know, charters came in like a law was put in place during Katrina that allowed charters to come in, and so it's very different from the traditional schools we had before Hurricane Katrina. My community schools, my teachers, I always say my teachers like lived in the neighborhood. They knock on the door. We used to walk to school with teachers and stuff like that. That was the norm until after Katrina when we went to the charter schools. But yeah, I went to a charter school. I those people they know me. They know like they know. But I went to a charter school where the whole school to prison pipeline, like the whole just everything about how a prison is ran was what they did with us, from the metal detectors to the security guards to one counselor in the school and so 300 kids. Like it was just everything about that school that I normalized that I thought was okay. The silent lunches, all of this stuff for 4 years, the walking on tape, like all of these things that this school like conditioned us like that they conditioned us for was just like was something that we all got used to. And like I said, I remember just every year I had the same grades in every class, like just being socially promoted every year, no matter what. Maintain the same grades in every class, not learning nothing, getting help on standardized tests. and stuff like that. Again, so this charter school could reach this 100% graduation rate so that they can get this money, and it's a claim for coming in the community and helping black kids. And then you dress us up in suit and ties. And if anybody know me, I had to get over this phase with suit and tie. I despise suit and ties for a long time. You couldn't tell me, nobody could tell me to wear a suit and tie. I went to the White House when Barack Obama was in the White House, and they was talking about suit and ties. And I told him I wasn't coming if you told me I had to wear a suit and tie. And I was in there with my Black Man Rising shirt. I hated suit. For the longest, suit and ties represented what that school tried to make me conform to. And they tried to make me conform, I believe, into a white man, mainstream side. Like they like all of that, like the hell, like none of this stuff was like, they made you feel bad for everything that was associated with blackness. Like that's what they conditioned us for. And so just going to that school, I really had to unlearn a lot of things. And like I tell people all the time, when you go to a school like that, where you're not being educated, where you're being programmed and overly dependent on the system, and then you ship to college, like there's no way psychologically you can, like it's like you for 4 years you told me it was this way, but you're supposed to be preparing me to be an independent, functioning adult to and then that wasn't what it was. Like you had me in college, and I damn near caught a mental breakdown the first day because I got to go to class by myself.
Damn.
I ain't even to work yet. I got to go to class. I got to walk to class by myself with this schedule with nobody helping me.
Wow.
I was just so used to having somebody standing on side me like a prison guard, escorting me to class every day.
Right.
So that school just did a good job of taking a lot of black young men from the community and programming us and having us like really like I feel like really like pushing us into the school to prison pipeline. Just
of course.
Just the way they condition us and stuff like that, silent lunches and stuff. I thought every school did these things. So when I meet kids like, what? And I'm like, oh, that's not, y'all don't do that? We do that. Yeah, the principal can just raise his hand. We know you talk, you go home. Like we know how this goes. Like it ain't no questions asked.
It's all about domination and control, like to keep us with a subservient type of mindset and to fit in boxes for the rest of our lives and just, go, through the motions. Yeah. So grateful, for you and for all of the young men that you're organizing with. We're getting in more comments now. Peace family, welcome. Appreciate y'all being here. Antonio, the other thing I wanted to, I guess, kind of talk about, what was your experience as a young new founder of an organization, a nonprofit, because you have traveled all over the country. You've had to, get it out the mud, as they say, right? Can you share, what some of those experiences have been like, and anything, that you will want other people, especially other young brothers who may be watching this, any advice you would give them in terms of how to navigate the space being a young Black man, because these spaces are supposed to be progressive and they're supposed to be, all that, but sometimes they can also be anti-Black male and pretty anti-Black in general. You want to kind of lean into some of that and some of those experiences?
Oh yeah, I was hoodwinked. Coming from the New Orleans, it's just culture in our community where if Mom's kid, you come to New Orleans and you an ally, if you somebody who I love and care about, like we move a certain type of way. It's like it's nothing you can ask for. If you say, "Hey Tony, I don't understand why that, like anything like that, you don't understand." I feel like it's my duty, it's my obligation to make sure, like I'm of value to, I'm a resource to you, regardless of what that is. So I took that mindset into the work. So I'm going to these conferences and I'm hearing that we are allies. We are together. We in the work together. We supposed to, but I sit in these spaces and it's like, I ain't supposed to be here. I'm not wanted in these spaces. Let me say that. Like, and so I got hit a couple of times. I got hit a couple of times by the same community And I felt like it was solely because I'm a heterosexual black man, and I'm just being honest. I just feel like anything I did, it was just this aggression. Like people were real. And I didn't know how to, like, it bothered me a lot because first of all, I thought we were all like Wakanda, but then second of all, where I come from, you can't handle me like that. So it was a lot for me to hold in because I'm not used to. That just was too much for me. So I used to go to these spaces and I used to shrink. I used to just go in there and not do too much. I had one of my more recent, a couple of years ago, I went to a training, all black training. I was one of three males at that training, and at the end of the training, one of the older males, he called it out. He said, "I don't know what it is, but every time I do something up in here, it's like, you know." And I echoed what he said because it's like, and that wasn't the only time. I just would say, we say we have safe spaces at these places, but say who are the safe spaces really for, and who are we really trying to, who we really serving? Because if I mean, just tell me, and I don't need to show up. But I get tired of showing up to places and feeling uncomfortable because people have other agendas, projecting what they got going on with like it's been like that for a while. And I actually thought it was me at first. I remember one time, I don't know if you remember this. This was my first experience, and you commented on Facebook, and I deleted the post. But remember one time on Facebook, I said I'm a feminist. Remember that?
I went off.
Remember that post?
I went off.
Yeah, right. So listen, that was because that was literally right after I went to a conference, and they tore me up. They made me feel like I just don't like it. It was like, so I'm trying to soul search, like, because it's new to me. I'm not so I'm still learning these terms and what they mean and what it mean to do this. Oh yeah, they got me together. So that was the first time, and then I had a couple of incidents after that, and then also other people in Black Men Rising went places, and so it's just like, yeah.
I'm glad you. So you and I have had these conversations, and I've been supportive of you and the other brothers in the Black Man Rising movement, and I've been very protective of y'all, because that's the case in a lot of these nonprofit industrial complex, so-called progressive, and all of that. Different conferences they're extremely anti-black male, like you said, specifically anti-black males who present from their perspective as heterosexual. Now, this is the same people who will say, don't assume people's sexuality and don't assume people's gender, but they will assume a black man. If they assume a black man is heterosexual, they're very antagonistic, and they're bullies. And I don't have it on my watch. I'm not going to have it on my watch. And I didn't know at the time when you had posted that you had that experience. And like you said, you were trying to be seen as good, in their eyes. And like you said, soul searching and all of this other thing. And when you told me what happened, you and I, obviously, we had our own conversations, and I have just been, supportive and have tried to help you figure out how to navigate it. But it's very political, and it's very intentionally. No, ma'am. Can you take that in there, please? And it's very intentionally antagonistic towards our young black boys and men. So I am not going to have that in my presence, and I don't want to be a part of any group or organization or world who say they fighting for black lives and hate straight black men. It's just that's antithetical to common sense. Okay. So I appreciate you, sharing that, and you getting some love in the comments for sure. Definitely want people, other black men, if you're watching this, if you've had similar experiences, let us know in the chat. Also, let us know where y'all tuning in from, what part of the world, what city and state if you're in the U.S. But yeah, and so have things, I know like COVID and we ain't been traveling like that, but Have things improved from your perspective before COVID happened when you would travel?
I would say with to be honest with your help, really you. Um, I learned to be more vocal about it. I used to, like I said, I used to shrink.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to feel like it was me. It was something I was doing that I thought I was doing something to people. Again, I'm looking at people like we together. But no, I started being more vocal about it and I started calling it out.
Yeah.
Started saying what it was.
Yeah.
And I was told, I was told in the last training I went to that I can't take my outside experiences with people and bring it in to the space. But that's what was happening to me. But they didn't realize when I brought it up that I had a situation that happened at that training. They thought I was talking about something that happened out there, and I came in that space uncomfortable. But yeah, but and I just don't be. I just ask people to not when I bring any of my young people with me anywhere, and I coach them. How we move and we just keep moving. But now ever since then I've had very limited interactions with people. Period.
Yeah.
Since COVID, so it's
Yeah.
I still I just I show up and do the work.
Right. Yeah, no, and you're gonna continue to do the work and continue to have my support. Let's switch gears a little bit. I know like the rest of the world, you have heard about the young rapper who was murdered today in Memphis, and apparently subsequently, um, there have been shootouts and shoot ups of some of the other Memphis rappers' relatives' house. There was another rapper, his grandmother's house was shot up after young Dolph, I believe is his name, or stage name. And then I do know who Yo Gotti is. His mother's restaurant was shot up. The city is just under siege right now. And I don't know, like what I know New Orleans has its share of murders and young black men being killed.
Yeah,
What are your thoughts? Have you talked to? I know y'all mentor a lot of young black men in New Orleans. So do you have any reflections and what are your thoughts on that sad situation?
yeah. It's unfortunate what happened to young Dolph and being able to be just in New Orleans, just being able to be tied in with so many people who are deeply rooted in the streets, like who are active. You know, stuff don't the issues that people have with each other don't cease to exist because another person has attained a certain status in life. Like things, those things those things are still prevalent in whatever people have going on. I do know when it comes to situations like this, uh, for the most part, it. I talked to a young person. I had a young person who, for all transparency, I had a young person who showed up who showed up. He in Black Man Rise, but we got disconnected from him. And he showed up to a school with a gun. He showed up to my school with a gun, but I wasn't there. He showed
Mm.
up to my school with a gun, and he was looking for somebody. It just so happened that the principal didn't know he had a gun, but the principal seen him and kind of knew he wasn't supposed to be in there, but like intercepted him in a way that wasn't like alarming. Like he's like, "Oh, how you doing? What's going on?" And he heard asked him like, "Are you looking for Antonio?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I am looking for Antonio." And then he called me, and he came over to my apartment, and we talked. And he had the gun on him and stuff, and we talked. And it's it's unfortunate because a lot of them start super young, and it's usually because they're looking for something to be a part of.
Mm.
And it's unfortunate. And what happens is they because he told me he was like he's like, listen, I started doing this when y'all like because remember we used to be separated. When we separated, we took a pitfall, so we lost him. He said so when y'all stop. He said when y'all stop coming, I was like whatever, and that's when he started doing what he was doing and stuff like that.
Wow.
So and so it's just like it's unfortunate, and I know where a lot of it stem from. A lot of it stem from the conditions they live in, and
That's
then
right.
a lot of them want money. A lot of them want money. A lot of them start selling. He was, one of the young men. He was selling to try to get money and stuff, and a lot of them smoke weed to, and they use it as a coping mechanism for the issues that they have going on. A lot of them just want to get high to not deal with what they're dealing with at the house, and then
Wow.
and then they turn into other stuff. So I don't know. I just feel like it's so much in it in that situation, especially like situations like Young Dolph, Nipsey Hussle, people who really have become pillars for their communities. It's just a lot to it's a lot to unpackage with it, But I definitely know just being connected to people. I've sat down, I've seen people cry. I've talked to people who cry tears who say that they don't want. I mean, they've reached a point in their life where they don't want to do that. I had a guy in Black Man Rising who was canvassing for us, and we had to go pick him up like 2 minutes later because of the neighborhood we dropped him off in. Like so,
Mm.
so regardless of we grow and we change and we evolve, but that don't mean that the people whoever are doing the same. Like it's just different. And so I had the last thing I just had that kid who showed up to the school. He had a situation with a kid at the school, his first date, and I had enough
Wow.
relationship with him that he told me instead of him acting on it. He said I got some
Wow.
issue with him, and so I sat them both in the room, and we made agreements together
Wow.
because I was able to leverage my relationship with both of them. Now they had situations in the streets where they openly said, if I see you or if I see you, it's harm that's gonna be done, right? So me having to acknowledge and respect where they come from, but at the same time trying to do something about because you can't just dismiss the reality. That's what a lot of people do. Oh, it's
Right.
dope. Okay,
Right.
you can't go in just dismissing their reality. Don't it's not gonna do nothing.
Right.
So I don't dismiss the reality, but I also try to come to a common ground. But I got them to agree not to do harm to each other at school, so they won't pass each other and stuff like that. No make comments, but it's just a lot of it's so much, and I know we could get to so many more kids if we had the resources to do so.
Exactly. That's what I was just about
Yeah,
to get to.
that's all we need is the if we
It's,
had the resources we could because we have them. We have all the kids. We got them. We have them. They bought in.
they
They
bought
want to
in.
be a part of. Yeah, we buying in. Oh, we like this, y'all. Okay, you look all right. We bought in. It's the resources, right? So it's like
Yeah.
figuring out ways where we could just keep them involved and be innovative and put money in their pocket and and keep things pushing. I could call any one of them right now to show up, and they're gonna show up and they're gonna show out because
Yeah.
they really bought into it. But I mean, how long can you? Uh, how long can I keep them from the streets without being able to offer them something to so that they don't have to try to make and most of the time they're trying to make money to support their families
Yeah. And
because
everything that you're talking about, the issues with young Black men and boys is not that Black people and Black men and boys are genetically prone to violence. These are mostly crimes of poverty.
yeah it's
These, yeah, these, and like you said, because somebody made it, those old beefs don't necessarily leave.
no
So America, and I spell it with 3 Ks, has the money to invest in all poor people, but especially in Black folks. It's
right
it's a it's a decision not to, and it is clearly a decision specifically to allow havoc to continue to happen to Black boys and men. Because when you go to any city in this country, the majority of the homeless are Black men. Um, and when you see any type of life outcomes, whether it's school, whether it's economics and health, Black men have the highest mortality rates in this country, the lowest life expectancy. in this entire country.
Yeah.
And it is appalling for me as somebody that just loves Black people in general, but it's appalling to see so many people continue to, really ignore the specific needs of Black men and boys. How can people support the Black Men Rising movement? If people who are listening, how can they support what you're doing in New Orleans to get to as many young men as possible, and help mold them, like you said, to give them space where they know that they are safe, they are in community with people who look like them, and that, like you said, they have already bought in, and it needs to be supported. How?
Well, of course, clearly, being a resource themselves, we have always been open to having anybody from any walk of life come in and drop jewels on us. We love that. We want that. We need that, especially our elders. So we love for people to be a resource themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, donating resources.
Where can people donate?
People could. I will. Can I type it in? I'll type
Yeah,
it in.
absolutely.
Yeah, I will type it in the chat. But just yeah, like donating. You, like I said, them themselves being resources
Mm-hmm.
to the folks. I've always asked people before they come to any of our meetings to bring their true authentic selves. I don't ask kids to show up. Like, I need people to come in, because sometimes I feel like when people come in and talk to kids, it's not that because I think sometimes people get it confused. When I ask people to show up and I say give it to us raw and uncut, I'm not saying that to say that that's the only thing we will respond to, but you're speaking for the most part, to a group of people who have seen the worst
Yeah.
have to offer. And
Right.
so we just need a little bit more than the whole, cut your hair low,
Exactly.
rap music type of talk. We really need you, to like come in and really, give us you, right?
Right.
And so acknowledge our struggle and what we got going on. So so yeah, I would definitely say, like, we just open to collecting any type of information, any jewels, anything that can help us extending yourself. Help us. I'm applying for us to get a summer camp this summer so we can.
Awesome. And will that be through the city?
Yeah, that'll be.
Will you all get some resources to be
Yes.
able to put it on?
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm so
So-
happy. I'm so happy. And I see you've been making moves, you know what I mean? Been on the news,
Oh yeah,
connecting with the politicians. Share a little bit more about that. Are you cool with the mayor?
I'm cool. Well, no, I'm not cool with the mayor. I'm not cool. No, I don't say it like that.
No, tell the truth. It's all good.
I just can't be fake, man.
I know you ain't fake. That's what I love.
I play the game. So we show up. We don't come out a lot in New Orleans because we just not about to do the bull stuff. We just not about to do it. We don't come out a lot. It's a very select few people who could call us and we gonna show up. Very select. We don't do photo ops. We charge for photo ops.
Like I know that's right.
Play the game, right? So, all right, we know you want photo op. You have to pay. Like we had people from high places asking us if we could put some kids on the candidates form. You have to pay for that. You have to pay my young people to do that. We're not doing it for free. Y'all have resources.
No, that's right.
We tax systems. We don't tax our families. We tax the systems. So
that's right.
So yeah. So I actually started. I did a special called The Talk about racism in America, and they paired me up with this older white man who was talking about it, and they did that strategically. They wanted to pair him up with somebody who was a little bit more urban. Even though they had a lot of black folk on there, they wanted to pair him up with me intentionally. And I told him when I met him before we even start filming, I told him I did my research on you. So if I felt any type of vibe, I wasn't showing up here to do the whole we wasn't about to tap dance today. Like we gonna
facts.
do it. So now I did the talk with him. It was real good. He real cool, down to earth dude, real cool guy. We gonna spin those from that, and then we're gonna sit young people at the table and see young
Oh,
people.
amazing.
We're gonna put the work in and see young people at the table where they need to be sat at, where they sit next to people who they normally wouldn't rub shoulders with. We're gonna
Mm-hmm.
get up in there and get resources. I just feel like conversations are good. Yes, tell me about all that's nice, but let's put some tangible in place where we could touch stuff because all that talking is for the birds. We don't want to just talk. So yeah,
Period.
so everything. So I try to stay on everything and keep my face out there so that they know we still here and we still active and we still doing it. And so
That's
I do
right.
schools. I'm a culture coach in a high school um, out here in the East, in New Orleans East, where all the black they moved all the black people at. We just move around. We move around, and I just put the kids in a basketball tournament so that they can so they have something that they can do, something constructive and recreational that they can get into.
Mm-hmm.
Do flag football at the high school for the other kids. Like so, we
Look at you, busy
we're gonna
everywhere.
we're gonna make it work. We're gonna put the work in and make it happen. In the meantime, just you know, trying to design T-shirts to sell. Do
Entrepreneurial. Oh no, we lost him. Oh man. Let me see if he'll hop back on. Oh, it was getting good too. Getting good. I'm gonna see if he can hop back on. He probably got a oh man, it was really getting good. Let me see. Give him a few minutes. So let me know in the comments. Are y'all enjoying this? Also, let me know if y'all got a question for Antonio. Put your questions in the chat while we wait for him to try to get logged back in. It'll probably take him a few minutes. Looked like he had it on a stand or something. But yeah, post some questions you have for Antonio in the chat, and I will ask him. I'll put it up. There he is. Here he comes. Cool.
my bad.
Oh,
I'm
it's
not
all good.
not my webcam now. But yeah, no, I'm just kidding. So yeah, now we putting the work in, and we take everything, every negative thing that they say about our culture, and we flip it. Like drill music. I know our music. We talk about shooting and killing each other, but it's you gotta dig deeper. Like drill music. You familiar with drill music?
I am now.
So that's
And I actually somebody was telling me I did like a live earlier, like just an impromptu live earlier about the young brother who was just murdered in Memphis. And
yeah.
Somebody in the comments was like, do not let your son listen to drill music.
But let me tell you
So,
this.
tell me.
Let me tell you something. Drill music do that I love, and I tell this to all the kids who in my class who I know listen to them because I listen to them too. But let me tell you one thing that they do. They take ownership. If you listen to drill music, particularly Chicago artists name their streets after their people. And so I try to take that. So I tell them like, all right, y'all going out here dying for Andrew Jackson Street and all these other people who like you gotta at least these kids, they got their beefs and stuff going on, but they stuff this O Block, Tuckerville, like it's these different names. They're naming stuff after their people. They're going to war for their people. So in drill music, they diss each other people. But so I take that. I know it's not cool. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, to talk about people who not here no more. But I do try to point out the fact that at least in what they do in their culture, it's like they're fighting for their brothers in arms. Like they're fighting for the people who died in a community, and they naming everything after the community. So I just tell people if you're gonna go out and you're gonna do that, just make sure you're not dying for a street sign named after somebody who could like let's connect the dots and stuff like that. Or do something.
What about so is there, because this is one of the things I was struggling with, and I talked about it earlier. Where is the conscious like rap in hip hop that we can kind of like steer our young people to? Because hip hop and rap, like a lot of other things that Black people create, because we're so creative, we're so innovative, it's been co-opted and it's been turned against us in a lot of ways. Like you said, the lyrics are trash in a lot of these songs. They ain't saying shit.
Yeah.
So are there any? I'm talking about this for your little brother.
Yeah.
For Amir. are there any conscious sort of like in the spirit of like Dead Prez, Public Enemy back in the day, The Roots, KRS-One, he some of his stuff used to be conscious, and yeah, just Siri X. I don't know. Is there any young rappers who conscious, who able to stream that people kind of listen to?
I would definitely say J. Cole.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm
J.
familiar with
Cole,
him.
J. Cole definitely. I think what happens is that most of the rappers, the times that we in right now, most rappers rap about. They always rap about what they see and what they're going through. You got your fakers who just rap about. They rap about. Most of them rap about their environment and conditions that they grew up in. It's usually the hit songs, the radio songs that's played. That's the songs, but you usually got to go deeper into their catalog, and they have those songs where they talking about. I grew up like this, and I had to do this and stuff like that. That's what I found more times than often. It's just that I guess it only take for most people, it only take one video to turn you off, like you know,
Yeah,
to get you like Wayne back in the day used to rap about how they trying to get us out of New Orleans and stuff like that. But if you click on another one of his videos, it might be something else. But like somebody said, some underground music too. I mean, it's like what you, it's just like your taste. But I do think a lot of rappers. I listen to a lot of old school rappers. I listen to a
me
lot
too. Me
of, but
too.
I listen to a lot of old school rappers, and
Yeah. If
that
you notice, R&B don't even
I
damn
know.
near exist anymore. I have to
Yeah,
listen to 90s and
yeah,
early
me too.
2000s
Yeah, yeah,
R&B. Like our music has been completely stripped
yeah,
of the love that used to be in a lot of the
yeah,
music, and the and politicizing young people. Like these people realize how powerful music is, and the music was politicizing a lot of our young people, and
yeah,
that's when you start seeing them pumping the killing music and
yeah,
calling black women bees and
yeah.
hoes and everything. So yeah, it's there's a lot of work that needs to be done. I'm proud of you, very proud of you, and I'm so proud of the work that you're doing. Please just tell me what the daggone thing is where people can donate, and I'll type it in.
Type in. Huh? I'll make sure the right one.
All right,
I make sure the right one is. I don't want to see the wrong
all
thing.
right, all right. Because I just want to make sure people can help, kind of like support the work. I want the work to be supported, and just keep doing what you're doing. I'm always a phone call away, but you know
Always,
that.
you and brother Hashem.
Need anything, let me
Yeah.
know. Are y'all starting to like get more support, at least from local foundations down there?
No, not really. What we do, what has increased was capacity. We do have. They got some real people who really want to see us win, and they offer themselves as resources to help us get grants and stuff. Ms. Ruth just helped us get a grant recently from the Shop Foundation.
Yay!
We got a grant from them, and so we trying to flip. I'm trying to flip that. So I'm not trying to use.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't want to use that even because we've done that before. We got like I think a grant for relief or something like that.
yeah, hurricane relief. Yeah,
Yeah, but we trying to flip that. We trying to use that to build up our website and sell these shirts and masks and stuff, so we could keep generating income for
that's
our
right.
right. So we don't want to just like hand out checks and then we don't have no money. We ain't there yet.
Facts.
We're doing that. So that's what we at with it. And that's what we trying to do. So we can keep doing that. So yeah, but we're gonna keep working. Everybody be want. That's the thing. Everybody want to work with us down here. Oh my God, they go crazy when they see us. They act like, oh, when you coming back? When you gonna do this and all this stuff? But nobody ever talk about.
Ain't nobody writing no checks.
Ain't nobody writing no checks. They just talk about everybody want us everywhere, but nobody write no checks. So we don't show up a lot of places for people who we don't even mess with like that. They're not talking about nothing.
Yeah, you need to charge a fee, like you said. People want to do a photo op. There's a cost for that. Yeah, charge fees. Yeah,
Please,
absolutely.
yeah. No, you
Period.
you don't get us for free.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
Well, nephew, this has been great. I definitely want to let you get back to what you were doing. I'm glad you spent this time with me tonight, and like I said, I'm proud of you. Continue to do the work. We need Black men rising movements all across this country, man.
Man.
And I think it's up to Black people to support our people and to support this work, because clearly we're failing a lot of our young men and a lot of our young boys and men.
Yeah.
And they definitely oh, that's the same as last time. That's Cash App, right?
You heard me.
Okay, let me put that in there.
We just want to be loved, Mama Kid. We just want to be loved.
Yeah, I'm gonna send y'all something too, because I ain't sent you nothing in a minute. And you know, I'm a phone call away. So
see, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, it's,
you have to remind me sometimes.
See, but I can look. It's like about 6 people. I didn't met so many people in this work and exchange business cards, but yeah. Listen, I moved down there if I had family out here.
I know you told me.
Just to be by y'all, just to be around y'all, because y'all
listen.
Like that.
Listen, you ain't trying to come up here to this expensive daggone DC region. Lord have mercy. Like, I'm trying to get back down south. I am gonna get back south, and that's gonna be my last time moving within the United States. Yeah. And then I'm on my way to Africa. I'm living out my days on the continent, and yeah. Well, let me let you go. Want to let you get back to what you're doing. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We appreciate everybody joining us tonight. Still, make sure you share this broadcast. Lots of jewels was dropped. Drop some money on the Cash App, y'all. Let's support Black people. You know what I mean? Let's because that's right. Because this young brother, and he has a group. How many members y'all got now?
We
just
deep,
a guesstimate.
We deep.
Man.
It's a lot of us.
I know, man. And I see y'all pictures and stuff. Like, I just see y'all doing it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we need. All Black men, all young Black men doing something positive, trying to help each other, trying to be a resource to one another. And we need to put our money where our mouth is as Pan-Africanists and as Black nationalists, because most of us are that, though that's our politics. Most of us who watch this. So let's put some money on there. A mighty hand can knock out some of this craziness that's happening in our communities. Much love, nephew, and I appreciate you. And again, I'm a call away anytime you need me.
Oh, I already know.
All right. And want to let the listeners know, clearly we will not be having a show next week. My family and I are traveling to the South, to Alabama. My family get together every year around this time for the holidays on our family 100 acres of land in Beloit, Alabama. So I'm looking forward to seeing my family next week. So we will not be having Real Talk next Wednesday, but we will be back on December. No, actually, we won't be back on December 1st. We will be back on Wednesday, December 8th. So Wednesday, December 8th, we'll see you then. Peace.